All right, hey guys, doing today? We're about to hop into the review of Proverbs chapter 16, man. The first things first, make sure you like that video, hit the like, is it full screen? Scroll a bit, like it. Full screen to back up. You feel me? Boom, hopping straight into it. I got the screen pulled up, just gotta pull it up, bang. Preparations of the heart of man and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. And what he made a joke about this. He said, this doesn't mean that everything we say is from the Lord, only when wisdom follows. Because if so, then I could say, that guy's a bleeping bleep, 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 and then be like, hey, that's from the Lord, though. And then he could come at me like, yo, you're a bleep, 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 and be like, that's from the Lord too. And then we both walk away like, God bless, you know? But it's just when it's wisdom, right? Because man prepares his heart, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord when it's wisdom. It's, you feel me? All the ways of man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. So just like when we do stuff, we're like, it's okay, it's gonna be cool, this is fine, it's gonna be like that, and blah 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 blah. But the Lord weighs the spirit of man, and therefore transfers to the next verse. Commit thy works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. You understand? And back to the premise of Proverbs, he said this ain't about promises, but it's more observations. Typically, when people commit thy works to the Lord, their thoughts are usually established, is what he noticed. Now, in today's day and age, it's much harder because this is the Old Testament, back when their whole community was Jews. Right now, we live in amongst a whole bunch of worldly people and all that type of stuff. And Jesus was talking about, you know, when you go out in my name, going to be persecuted. So it's going to be harder to commit thy works to the Lord and not and get established. It's going to be harder in today's day and age. Doesn't mean it's impossible, right? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But how do you do those things? Through Christ. And what are you doing? All things, maybe. The Lord has made all things for himself, even the wicked for the day of evil. And this goes to show that even the evil people are taken into consideration in God's overall plan. And he's mentioned how this is a hard concept for some people to stomach, because if you look at the devil, people are like, well, how would he make the devil if he knew he was going to be evil? But God didn't make the devil, right? God made an angel named Lucifer. Lucifer was given the choice, right? Just like we're all given choices every day, all the time, to be evil. And even such, you look at that like, oh, what's God gonna do to these evil people? God still has a way to work them into his plan. And he said in the sermon, I am not a teacher, this is what he said, that he does not believe. Now that doesn't make it right. This is what he believes, right? He said, he believes that God didn't make evil people just so he could punish them. And as a God of love, you couldn't agree to that, right? That's where my thinking comes in. That makes no sense if he's a God of love and he made people specifically to punish them. Doesn't make sense. However, I think this is where my thinking comes in, right? Once again, prefacing, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a preacher, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a nothing new. I'm just a guy studying the Bible. So I know that there's a verse, I think it's in Psalms, where it says God has made the good and the evil, right? And there's a juxtaposition there. There can't be good without evil, or else there would be nothing. Not nothing, but like it'd all be baseline. There wouldn't be anything to make it distinct, right? So there's good because there's evil, and there's evil because there's good. And then there's like technically no neutral. It's just on a spectrum of good to bad, and we could call it an even number where there's no direct middle point, right? Anyway, unless you go into decimals, I assume, but like math people, sit this one out, please. Anyway, so the point being that I think where God makes it come in with these evil people is that he has to offer punishment as a force to drive there to be good people, right? Jesus saved us for free, but it's not truly free because you still have to have faith in him, right? It's still free salvation. You just got to take hold of it, right? I could say free samples, but if you don't come get the sample, does that mean it's still free? It's still free, but there's still a cost associated with it, the cost of expending the energy to go get it, right? So with that, if there was no sense of punishment and the salvation was truly free in terms of like, you know, you don't have to do anything, I just saved you just because, there'd be no incentive to be good or to love God kind of thing. But he has to throw in the evil in his plan, aka the day of evil, for the wicked people, so that there's an incentive to trust in God and be saved, because he wanted to love everybody, he wanted to save everybody, so he did that. However, if there was no punishment for nothing, then nobody would accept that gift, right? That's how my hypothesis works. But once again, Not a preacher, not a teacher, not a whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a guy studying the Bible. That's it. Young Christian on the beat. I'm only 20 years old. Everyone that is proud of his heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be punished. AKA, ain't nobody gonna save you, gang. Ain't nobody gonna save you. You cling on to your worldly because you hug that money tight. It's not saving you. You grab your dog tight. He's not gonna save you. Grab your best friend. He's not gonna save you. Grab Kendrick Lamar. He is not your savior. That was a song on one of his albums. Anyway, by mercy and truth iniquity is purged, and the fear of the Lord men depart from evil. Right? By the fear of the Lord, right? Mercy and truth purge this iniquity. Solomon noticed. Right? By mercy, giving grace, and truth, which prevails, iniquity, the wrongdoing, is taken out of the equation. And by the fear of the Lord, usually men depart from evil, right? Why? Because what is the fear of the Lord? It's the start of wisdom. The fear of the Lord is also loving your neighbor as yourself. When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Once again, observation. Generally, we talked about this last chapter, kill him with kindness. What are you going to really do? Or was it last chapter? Maybe 2 chapters ago. I don't remember at this point. But kill him with kindness, right? When somebody's mad at you, how are they going to respond? Do you think, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I know I've done wrong? It's hard. It's not impossible. People do it all the time, right? But it's pretty hard, more than not, to still be mad at a person who's genuinely seeking forgiveness in the moment. So if you're loving your neighbor as yourself, it's hard to get enemies, in my opinion. People may just hate you because you're doing better than them, or people may hate you because you seem to have it all figured out and you're always nice and everything. And right, I told you guys, I've been told I'm toxically positive. Even at a meeting yesterday I was in, I overheard my boss going like, everybody's in such a great mood today. We're all doing good. And I was like, who's we? She's like, what? You're always in a good mood. I was like, yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Whatever, so you can still be hated on, right? So I won't say it's impossible to make enemies if you're loving your neighbors yourself, right? People are going to have their own issues and come with their own problems and then form their own conclusions about you in their mind and hate on whatever you got to hate on, or hate on whatever you got going on in your life. However, it's going to be hard for them to stay mad at you if you're pleasing the Lord. Because, verse 8 says, better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. Right? Facts. A man's heart devises his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. Basically, kind of what we talked about earlier. Man wants to go his own way, but the Lord is going to do what he can to kind of manipulate those steps, right? He's going to point you in the right direction. That's why he says, I forget the book. It's somewhere in the New Testament, though. But the Lord has laid out every good work before us, right? He's laid out every good work before us. AKA, he's given us every chance to do good. Are we going to do that? We're going to devise our own way. He's laid it out. He's directing our steps, but we're going to go our own way, right? A divine sentence is in the lips of the king. His mouth does not transgress in judgment. A divine sentence is on the lips of the... let me check what this means for real, because I don't know what this is talking about. Divine decision given by God is on the lips of the king as his representative. His mouth should not be... Okay. So this is like going into that Romans verse where it's like, was that chapter 13? Where it's like, God puts everybody in power for his authority to do his rule kind of thing. He puts those people in power kind of like to act like him on earth, so we should obey them kind of thing. So yeah. Now this talk about the king of Israel, I don't know. Or it's talking about all kings, I don't know. But that's what it says. Let the Bible talk. Let the Bible talk. A just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his work. Just weight and the balance of the Lord's. All the weights of the bag is his work. Everything is according to his scale. That's all you should know. Everything's according to his scale. Yo, these people were mad at me in the comments, bro. These people were mad at me in the comments. I'm probably gonna make another video about it tomorrow. Probably. God willing, that is probably what the topic of the video is gonna be on. The people that were mad at me in the no God, no morals video. Like, these people literally can't. One dude just said, cringe, lol. Imagine thinking you're better because you follow a monster. I'm like, I ain't saying nothing about being better, 1. 2, and I had just commented, I was like, imagine thinking you have a point just because you said cringe. I came with some facts. What'd you come with, bruh? Came with a 5-letter word. And a LOL. What am I doing with that? Anyway, but like everything is measured against him, right? Morals, they're measured against his balance. The weights, they're his. What else do you have to measure it against? Oh, the universe made everything. No. Well, the universe says this is good and this is bad. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's so funny, so funny. Anyway, it is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. So I clicked the wrong thing. I meant to look at the verse we just read, but go back to here, right? A just balance and honest scales are the Lord's. All the weights of his bag are his concern, established by his principles, right? All the weights, everything that we can measure it against it is his. But I meant to check this one. It's repulsive to God and man for kings to behave wickedly, for a throne is established on righteousness, right standing with God. Boom. Kind of talking about like 3 verse earlier. Righteous lips are the light of kings, and they love him that speaks right. Boom. Wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. Facts. A mad king, he can get people hit, he can get them whacked, but a wise man can shut that down. And the light of a king's countenance is life. So in the face, or in the light of a king's face is life, and his favor is as a cloud of the latter rain. I think the latter rain was the ones that like led the plants to grow more, if I'm not mistaken. And the light of the king's face is life, and his favor is like a cloud bringing the spring rain. Yeah, because April showers bring May flowers. The rains that bring the increase, or that bring, you know, that can make God bring the increase. Whatever you want to say. How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather than being chosen than silver? So, you know that Kirk Franklin song? I don't know if it was him first that sung it. I just know it from Kirk Franklin. Silver and gold, I'd rather have Jesus than silver and gold. All right, that's gonna be the end of part 1 of Proverbs chapter 16. Y'all make sure you have a great rest of your day. Peace. I woke up this morning, I'm feeling kind of down. I called on my best friend. He could not be found. But I can call on Jesus. My life he can hold. Because I'd rather have Jesus than silver and gold.